I think it calls for optimism against the media that generally presents Brexit as doom and gloom. So, no, we're not setting the world alight. No, we're not growing as fast as the rest of Europe. But it's not doom and gloom, which is what I think the media likes to portray. So, yes, cause for optimism.
Well, despite Brexit uncertainty, still no recession for the UK, but many economists did produce that gloomy forecast, didn't they? So is this the calm before the storm, or are they simply wrong?
I think they could be wrong. I think that the services sector grew, construction didn't, but there's great strides to grow that sector, as we know, and there's going to be announcements soon in the UK, and just like Gibraltar, we need more property. So I think cautiously optimistic. As I say, it's not as good as Europe, and Europe's on a 10-year high, and we were doing ever so well before they voted Brexit. But nevertheless, we're not going to sink.
Well, the pound has reacted quite positively today to the news, strengthening against the euro and the dollar. Is this good news for local business?
I think it's not so much good news for local business. I think it's good news for the 13,000 workers who cross the border each day. So 2 years ago, the pound was 20% higher. So those guys, half our workforce, have effectively taken a 20% pay cut. That's dreadful. That's awful for them. Who takes a 20% pay cut? So those people have really suffered. So an interest rate rise, will push the pound up a little bit, and that's better news for them. And also, we need to attract workers here to fulfil these jobs. And some of the people who are moving over, forced to live in Spain because Gibraltar is expensive, they look at the euro rate, and Gibraltar becomes an expensive place to work. And therefore, against other jurisdictions like Malta, we might price ourselves out. So any rise in the pound, I think, is generally good for Gibraltar at the levels we see at the moment.
Well, the Bank of England are going to be meeting next week to make a decision whether for the first time in 10 years it will put interest rates up. Is this going to have a knock-on effect on Gibraltar if it does happen?
It will have a small knock-on effect, but don't forget it was 0.5% last year and they reduced it to 0.25 and they've only probably put it back up to 0.5. So I think it's largely symbolic. Will anybody really notice? Those people who've got a mortgage will notice a shade increase. Those people who've got savings will notice a shade increase in their savings. So I think it's more symbolic than financially difficult or attractive for anyone. The real test will become whether they go above 0.5% later in the year or more likely next year. That's when there might be a knock-on effect. But I don't think we're mortgaged too highly as a jurisdiction, so I think we can absorb that quite well. I just think it's better news for the people who cross the border.
The OECD said that the economy will slow down rapidly next year, but do you think a good Brexit deal could change that outlook?
Yes, because the doom and gloom is all down to the uncertainty. The worst thing that affects business is uncertainty. As soon as we have certainty, whatever it is, business copes, business changes, economic, your budget, your forecast change, the whole Gibraltar economic model may change depending on what the Brexit deal is. Until we have certainty, it's really, really difficult. Because it's so difficult to plan ahead, whether you invest or not, whether you wait or not, whether we're trading with